What up YouTube, it's Bubix once again, and today we're going to be finalizing the whole class guide by doing a ranger guide. This is the last class guide that I'll be doing for until the upcoming 40 level cap patch hits. So it's going to be level 1 through 30. You guys have seen these videos. What I do is I'm going to briefly discuss about the skills. Basically I'm going to read over it and tell you what exactly the skills do. I'm going to give a little bit of pros and cons, and lastly I'm going to give how to play efficiently as a ranger and some tips on whether it is useful or whether the ranger class is just whatever. So without any further ado, let's get started. Before I start, I would like to thank my guild members, Kazuki, for allowing me to use his character for this video. Thank you so much, you're fantastic. And so yeah, let's get started. You guys know how I start this. We're gonna start by going over the skills first, and the first skill that we're gonna go over is gonna be an action skill, and it's called Invasion Shot. What it does is you're gonna consume 40 EP, and you're gonna jump backward 3 meters, but while doing so, you're gonna shoot arrows 3 times in a 2-meter radius, hitting up to 5 people. For 12% damage. The third arrow that hits without your character critical chance, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's gonna stay as a 30% crit chance, and then yeah, you could definitely use this while you're using other ability as well. So let's say you're using this S ability, and then all of a sudden, boom, you could just dash back. And then you're gonna shoot that little arrow on the ground. So this is gonna be your dashing ability, your dodging ability, I should say, that each class have as an action. So this is for ranger. It's called Evasive Shot. Let's move on to the passive now. The first passive we're gonna look at is Acrobat Master. What it does is it's pretty much one of your defensive passive ability that other classes have. For rangers, what it does is you're gonna decrease your magical element damage by 2.2%. Basically you're gonna get hit less for 2.2%, I should say, and also you're gonna increase your avoidance by 7. So nifty stuff, although it does not decrease any physical damage, which is kinda sucks, but to accommodate that, they do give you avoidance, which is not bad at all. Next ability we're gonna look at is called Golden Eagle. What it does is whenever you make a crit, or whenever you crit a monster, you have a 100% chance of summoning this eagle that will last for 15 seconds. Excuse me. During this eagle is active, your dex is gonna be increased by 5.6%. And once you dismiss the eagle, or once the eagle disappears, you won't be able to resummon it until 18 seconds is passed. So you could think of it as this passive, this proc having 18-second cooldown in between. So yeah, pretty nifty stuff. There is an ability that you'll be using regarding this passive, so we'll get to that later. But first we're gonna look into the last passive ability for this class, which is gonna be Physical Training. What it does is you increase your HP, total HP by 4%, and at the same time you're gonna be increasing your movement speed by 12%. So what I noticed while I've been fooling around with this my friend's character was that Ranger is not as mobile than any other characters. For example, it is not. I honestly could say that it is kind of in par with the Berserker when it comes to movement speed, but it is slightly better than Berserker. But however, it's still on the very poor side when it comes to mobility. So having this small passive ability where to increase your movement speed, it is a big plus. However, at the same time, I feel it's still lacking. Just the fact it's a ranger and you gotta stay away from the monster most of the time. But yeah, that's a little one downer. But thank goodness they have this passive ability to accommodate it. Let's move on to the active skills. First skill that we have is called Arrow Storm, and what it does is you're gonna consume 30 SP, and then you're gonna throw down like crazy amount of arrows from the sky to your area and 4.5 meter radius, and hitting up to 8 monsters for 20% damage for 20 times. So let's see how this skill looks like. I'm gonna go look for a monster. I'm actually gonna mob some of them so I could actually show you how it works. So we got some monsters over here, over here, over here, and basically it comes onto your area. So I'm gonna shower it, and you're gonna hit the monster for 20 times. So the damage wasn't that great, just the fact that my friend's character's gear is not in par with as their other class that I did, but still pretty interesting ability. It makes a very fancy having all those like arrows coming down at you, which is looks pretty amazing. The next ability we're gonna look at is called Eagle Strike. What it does is once you summon an eagle, you'll basically command the eagle to go attack, and then what it does is it's gonna dash 9 meters forward and then hit up to 8 monsters for 242% damage. And also with the eagle's sharp nail, or toenails I should say, it's gonna infect the monster for 6 seconds, while each second the damage will tick for 44%. And also when the eagle attacks, the monster is gonna lose movement speed by 32%. So I noticed that a lot of rangers have this ability where they slow the monster. I guess that's to accommodate from them not having that much of a mobility. So let's see how that looks. First we're gonna summon the eagle. Once you have it, what you do is you're gonna throw it, leap it out, and then you see how it goes, and then you see how they're taking damage over time because of the sharp eagle's toenail that infect them and that bleed them. Very cool ability. I recommend you're probably gonna use it most of the time, but I suggest you keep onto it and then use it at the last moment, because once you have that eagle active, you're gonna have your dex increased by 5.6%. so you gotta remember that. So while the eagle is active, you'll probably burst down all, spam all your abilities, and towards the end of the time where the eagle is about to expire, you'll probably use this ability to, finish off with the big damage. Next ability we're gonna look at is Rapid Shot, and what it does is you're gonna consume 10 SP, and basically you're gonna shoot up to 9 meters and attacking the very closest one by 33% for 3 times. You get to spam this key, however, and then every time you hit it, your third one is actually gonna go through the monster and hit the next monster as well. So let's see how this skill looks like. Basically, let me show you this one key. You just shoot, that's one. If I'm gonna spam it, it's actually gonna go through and hit the other monster. So it is somewhat of a mobbing ability, but not quite as much, I should say. Excuse me, but still pretty nifty. So yeah, next ability that we're gonna look at is called Ice Arrow, and what it does is you're gonna consume 20 SP, and what it does is you're gonna shoot up to 9 meters and hitting the monster for 50% damage, and infecting them with the debuff for 5 seconds, decreasing their movement speed by 40%. Once the arrow hits, the first one is gonna actually go through the monster and hit the monster in the back as well. So it has somewhat of a mobbing ability, but it is very one target oriented. So what it does, like as you can see, it shoots arrows in kind of like in a radius, like in a cone shape, and whoever gets hit, they'll actually be slowed for 40%, so you won't be able to, you could run away and then regroup and then come back later to finish them off. One thing that I really noticed is that Ranger's abilities are very long range compared to any other classes, so definitely a plus side. I think also accommodates him not having that much of mobility once again, but you know, having that long range of having 9 meters of damaging abilities, I think you could kite monsters fairly well. And on top of that, it does have abilities that decrease their movement speed, so you'll have a very easy time of kiting monsters without a problem. So yeah, let's move on to the next ability. It's called multi-shot, and what it does is you're gonna consume 12 SP, and then you're gonna shoot a cone of 7-meter radius, hitting up to 8 monsters for 76% of damage, and also knocking the monsters back by 0.5 meters. You get to spam this key, and every time you spam it, the first two will be the same, but the third one is actually you're gonna do a little cool flip and then shoot arrow fast and then attack the monster by 39% 3 times. So let's see how this one looks like. So I'm gonna do spam, 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 and you see how he does that little cool flip at the end. Excuse me, and then hit the monster 3 times as well. Cool mobbing ability. This is like the most, or probably the only mobbing ability that you have as a ranger. But yeah, very useful. You're probably gonna use this most of the time when you're leveling, when you're trying to tag a monster and all that good stuff. Very nifty, very useful. Towards the boss fight, you're probably not gonna be use this at all, but it's good to keep in your hotkeys because you will be needing it at some times. And lastly, we have Strife. What it does is you're gonna shoot an arrow in 9-meter radius and hitting the very closest one for 18% damage 4 times. And every time it hits, it's gonna regain your SP by 4. So basically, this is your basic ability that you'll be constantly spamming. As you saw earlier when I was trying to get my SP back, I've been using that ability. And yeah, pretty much it is your SP gathering ability. So I'm low on SP, I'll be basically spamming this basic attack to get my SP back up, so I could always use my ability. So be sure to put this in a place where it's a lot comfortable for you, because you will be spamming it a lot. And yeah, let's move on to some pros and cons. Con is that the ranger as of right now is, in my opinion, is the least popular class to play. I don't know the exact reason behind it. For me, I feel like Rangers does not deliver that much excitement compared to any other classes that we have seen. But one other thing of downside of Ranger is that you can't really mob that much of monsters. You can't really grind with it. You can't really farm with it, unfortunately. So, which is a little bummer. But the pro is it is fantastic when it comes to 1v1 situation. Ranger has a very lot of single target oriented abilities, so they are fantastic when it comes to bossing, and pretty much like doing raid content where there's only one single target that you gotta deal with. Then Ranger is like very it shines over other class when it comes to that term. Mobility is bad, but they do accommodate it by giving them a slow ability and to, you know, improve on your movement speed and whatnot. So those are pretty balanced out. How to play efficiently? You do have your range advantage with your abilities, so I suggest you always stay far away from the monsters as possible. And what you'll do is you will spam all your abilities. When they feel like they're like halfway towards you, then you gotta use your snake ice arrow to slow them, and then, you know, run away or leap away, and then constantly attack. But yeah, leveling wise, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be very easy for you. Just the fact that it is a range class, and you do have like that range advantage over any other class, so you'll be easy to tag the monster, no problem. All you probably have to do is just change the angle shoot, 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 and that's what you probably have to do. You probably don't even have to move around. You just gotta change direction, just the face other way, the face other way, and then pew pew away, and you should hit level 30 in no time. So yeah, those are some of my introduction about Rangers. I hope you guys learned something from it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys like the video, be sure to hit that like button. It does help me a lot to keep going. If you want to see more content similar to this or other interesting Maplestory 2 content, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because I'll be constantly uploading a lot of fun contents for you guys to see and all that good stuff. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you guys all later. Ciao.